Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today, we are continuing our journey on the Gathering Forces. We are putting. Oh gosh, hang on. I had the Twitch on. Whoops. So we're continuing our journey on Gathering Forces, where we're painting up a 500-point Legion army over the course of the month. Today, I will be joined with one Mr. Michael Plummer. What's up? As he continues his rebels and I continue my clones. And instead of me talking, let's switch it over to the mini cams and let's get to painting and chatting. I'm gonna switch mine.
Go for it. What are you going to be painting today, Dallas?
I've got another unit of phase 2s.
Delightful. I am painting these new Wookiee minis, and they are delightful. I absolutely love these.
Those are the
Wookiee Warriors.
I can't remember now.
Yes.
Wookiee Warriors.
And I have the unit with the Reich blades and the pistols.
So you went with the more melee-centric unit?
No, I went with the classic unit. I gave them tenacity as an upgrade so that when they're wounded, they have a little more oomph to them. And I figured they're going to be my shock force. Outside of Luke, of course. Luke is a one-man shock force.
Right.
It's also a lovely opportunity to practice my dry brushing, which I love. Gotta stay in frame now.
I mean, that dry brush definitely gets that fur texture done real quick.
Oh yeah, it gets the job done. That's for sure.
Whereas I made up a wash. If you've been watching, I've been doing these clones with a gray wash that's like all controlled. And it's been taking me way too long for a tabletop army. So that's the fun of for me, one of the cool things about painting an army is you can kind of develop and grow your technique.
Yep.
And be like, you know what, that I can shortcut this. So I'm going to try to shortcut this a lot today.
That is always the best, is when you figure out the faster way to do something that you've been working on.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a whole army to paint. I decided to go with 3 distinct flavors of Wookiee. I have a red-haired one, I have a gray-haired one, and then I have sort of a classic Wookiee brown. So looking forward to seeing that come to fruition here. I'm excited to play some games. Getting close. We're getting close to being done. Everybody's just about finished with their painting, which is great. Just a couple more units.
I mean, I'm going to be real honest. I still got to learn how, but.
Well, that's okay, because you have me. And I'll gladly show you how to play.
And also, as we were talking right before the stream started, I definitely know how to move units and go pew pew.
I mean, that's the most important part of playing any game, right?
I mean, you and I have very similar philosophy. It's on the game, right? It's on any game. It's I'm here to facilitate fun, not just for me, but for my opponent. It's part of my job. Quote, air quotes. So make sure my opponent's having a good time. That's part of the social contract.
That's right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as long as both people had fun, everybody won. I'm a huge proponent of the object of the game is to win, but the point of the game is to have a good time. Don't get me wrong. I love winning. I love winning so much, but I don't get to experience it that often. So, got to find my joy elsewhere,
It's true. I play a lot of games against Chick, and I never get to win. So
yeah, that sounds like a shared experience there.
I just have to accept the fact that my unit ran up and did something really awesome, and that's the best part of the game.
Yeah, I usually have to settle for the fact that my dice are usually pretty insane, and people get frustrated at how well I roll a couple times.
The Michael Plummer School of Roll Better.
That's correct. That's what everybody talks about. Just because, I'll pick up the dice, I'll pick up 7 dice and be like, oh, I hit 7 times. What?
Use playtest real bad, kids.
That's statistically improbable.
I failed.
But I'm not complaining.
I failed at the Michael Plummer School of Roll Better. I flunked out.
That's okay, though. So this red hair is coming real nice. Love dry brushing so much. It's also been really fun to, watch everybody joining along and people being excited about their own Legion armies all month. Like, yeah, this has been really fun. I'm really glad that we're all doing this. And John's clones are beautiful. Really, really like those Holger Blue troopers that Schick's been working on.
Oh, I can't wait for Schick to paint them dewback. That's what I want.
Yeah, right? Dewbacks are just super cool minis. Really fun. Can't wait to see what he does with them.
All my dreams are wrapped up in dewbacks.
All right. First dry brush is done on the red one. It's not showing up too well in the camera, unfortunately, but this is actually a really nice red brown that I'm excited about because people may remember last week I made Jeff Brexler a redhead. So I decided one of these Wookiees also has to be a redhead because that's why he trusts them.
Does all your Wookiees gonna have different color hair to like really show like?
Yeah. So the way I figure it, like Wookiees don't all have the same color fur. So I've got this red guy here that I'm painting, and then this one is going to be gray. And I really love this mini. He's super cool. He kind of just looks black, but I promise he's gray and has been washed. Past couple weeks, all I've gotten through is a base coat and a wash. So this time I airbrushed them a color and I went ahead and did the wash ahead of time so that I can do some dry brushing. And this is the one that I call classic Wookiee brown. So, but we're going to keep working on this red one. I think I'm just going to do maybe 2 or 3 layers of dry brush on these. Make sure I get some nice contrast and some different coloration and just get them done, right?
It's one of the I like different armies for different reasons. Like if like Rebels definitely gives you that ability to make that ragtag collection of ragamuffins, right?
Yeah, they're scrappy.
Everybody's a little different. Whereas like playing like clones or Imperial, you have that more militaristic cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
And then clones like you add like that little bit of personal flavor, to like individual clones. And then of course B1s are for people who just want the exact same guy out there from a hobby standpoint. Like I'm just gonna paint 20 B1s and they all look the same. And so it's kind of fun.
It is, and it really helps with that whole like assembly line idea, right? You want to get it finished. I'm gonna paint 20 B1s all at the same time. That's actually one of the reasons I really like the Rebels is I get very bored painting the same thing over and over again, and they have so many neat options because they have the Mandalorians, they have the Wookiees, you've got fleet troopers, rebel troopers, veterans. They all look very different as opposed to like say stormtroopers and snow troopers and short troopers. Like yes, they look different very much. They're very distinct in their styles, but they're still very much a stormtrooper. So.
Plus,
I see someone saying that I should invest in a light, and it's funny because I have an odd light. So it's a daylight lamp, and I see the colors beautifully. I don't know what the issue is with my camera, unfortunately. So,
you can probably go to your camera settings and adjust it.
The good news is
I adjust mine all the time.
If I knew how to do that, I would, but I'm afraid I'm going to break it. And I figured this is better than nothing on stream. Oh, that was a little heavy. Got a little heavy with my dry brush there. Don't love that. But let's see if we can fix it up with a wet brush. Yeah, there we go. But just like always, there will be pictures of these going up on social media after they're finished. And I will try to get a better camera setup before I'm doing any more of these series, or better lights, or whatever it takes. Oh, Rowdy Octopus. Yeah, no, don't think you're trying to be negative at all. It is a fair critique. It's definitely the color is a little off on the screen. So,
I'm curious if anybody out there is painting along with us on their gathering forces goals this month.
I would love that. I would love that so much. So one of my favorite things is getting together with people and painting, working on our armies, and then of course playing some games after the day.
I know we got some to show off today here in a little bit too.
Yeah, we do. They're nice.
I'm with you. I love getting together with people and having paint jams.
Yeah, I just love how all-encompassing the hobby is. Like, there's so many things that you can do socially or non-socially inside of miniature gaming, and yeah, it's good. It can be social. It can be introverted. It's really whatever you want the hobby to be in any given moment, which is probably why I've done it for so long. Yeah, that makes sense. Chat. A lot of people in chat are saying, telling us what minis they have on their tables, but stream is during their work time, and that makes sense. I mean, stream is during my work time too. I just get to be on the stream during my work time. So excited to hear that people are working on their armies, though. Getting ready to play again here soon. We're getting close to things being more open and more games happening, and people getting re-energized about that side of what we do.
Definitely got all vaxxed up. I'm ready to play some games.
Yeah, I've got a little more time before I'm completed, but I'm also looking forward to getting more games in. So it's been too long, far too long.
Pagani got his clone force painted up, so
He did that real quick. Super impressive.
Yeah, he knocked out 800 points real fast.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it, but good for him. I was saying in stream last week that I hadn't painted in a few months, really, just because I've been focusing on other hobbies and other interests and taking care of some personal things. But actually, working on this army has really kind of reinvigorated my love in it, and I've been painting most days and working on my hobby, which is great. So it's been really nice to have this.
Yeah, I paint almost every day.
Oh, I bet. I used to. The nice thing about these Wookiees is like they really take the dry brushing well. The details on the fur are really strong.
Grinch 511 says they're working on their 12th clones tonight.
Excellent. Hopefully they will share them on social media using that Gathering Forces hashtag so we can get a chance to see them ourselves. I would love that.
Yep. Hashtag Gathering Forces. Throw it up on Instagram. Let us see them.
All right. So that's the red one He looks very brown in the camera. So let's switch over to the gray. I think that one's going to show up a little bit better. And I'm pretty happy with where Big Red is right now. Hopefully people will be able to see what's happening on this one.
Grim Wolf UK. Once I get some time at Start June, I'll be painting my clones as the 104th. We're going to kit bash a clone commander. What's your kit bash going to entail? Woo!
Let's see.
Sneeze. Them allergies, they're killing me.
Yeah, it's going to be about that time. And the trees start growing again, and everybody gets stuffy.
I worked on my clone commander last week, so here's my clone commander. Is he in focus?
I don't see him yet. Oh, there he goes. Oh yeah, looks good.
He's all ready to.
I really like the way you split up the helmet on him. It looks really good. That kind of black in the center.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like every single helmet I've decorated different, split the black up differently. So just kind of playing with that idea of like everybody has black on different parts of the armor.
Mm-hmm.
I do focus on the knee pads look really good black and the little metatarsals. But then arms and shoulders, I'll probably do a couple of clones in this next unit with some more black leg groups. I want to do something with a fully black helmet because I haven't done that yet.
I am super hyped to paint Luke next week, the culmination of my progress, and I'm probably going to be swinging by your office to bother you for some easy tips to paint a lightsaber, so be ready.
Oh, I did a whole video.
I mean, I could look that up, or I could come bother you.
I mean, you should definitely come bother me. I'll say if you're here, come bother me. But anybody else out there who doesn't live nearby, you should definitely look up the video on the YouTube. I did a whole video on OSL over the mini extravaganza. Yeah, and I totally painted up Darth Vader lightsaber, and then went kind of crazy with OSL.
And that is where I got the idea to bother you. I will, of course, watch the video before I bug you too much, but I'm hoping that I can pull off like my first decent OSL. I've tried it before. It's never really come out very well, so I keep trying. And I have a rule where once a mini is finished, I don't go back to it because it's done. And I would drive myself crazy if I go back to try and fix every miniature that I've ever painted. So I'm constantly looking for new opportunities to try those things that I'm not the best at.
So it's about try something, fail at it, set it aside, try again later.
Yep.
In the immortal words of one of the great sages of the world, sucking at something is the first step of being kind of good at something.
Correct. Try, fail, fail again.
Learn to love the plateau.
Oh, I don't know if I've learned to love it yet, but I've learned to accept it as a reality.
D Fox says, "Does the clone commander have a name yet? I'd like to suggest Jinx." So we're going to call the clone commander of the Lucky 13s Jinx. I
like that. I like that a lot.
I'm in.
There you go, clone commander Jinx. And Gooey Chewy, solid area, man. Absolutely, yeah. OSL it's tough. It's a thing to learn. Like if you want to, there's plenty of other ways to do a glowing lightsaber, and I've learned some of those, like with glazes and mixing mediums and things like that, over like a nice like off white. But I really want to learn it, and I'm with you. It's not a failure; it's a learning experience. So I'm just going to keep learning. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to get the reminder sometimes.
Not all luck is good luck. I love it.
Oh, that's totally true.
It's classic. That's a classic song by one Mr. Buck Owens and Rory. Oh boy, Rory Clark. I'm really showing my age.
That's okay. I did that the other day. I'm finding more and more that there are things I say and people just look at me and I'm like, right, I'm old or older.
I'm old and I'm from Missouri. I know a lot of weird stuff. I got my TX 130 ready for next week. Ooh, I'm ready to paint.
That is going to be fun. And I think people will get a kick out of watching you work on that.
Look, the whole army is based around the fact that I get to take a tank.
I mean, that's great. Tanks are awesome. Everybody loves tanks.
And I think the very next thing I would add, just because I want to paint it, is the Lat LE.
Yeah, I think the next thing that I'm going to paint for my rebels when I'm finished with this is, well, I have the land speeder, so I'm going to do that for sure. But the next unit I'm going to do is some Mandalorians.
Oh yeah,
I have Sabine Wren sitting on my painting table, all assembled and ready to go, and I've got some Mandalorian resistance that I think I'm going to make Clan Wren, and I love Mandalorians, so
yeah.
treat myself to something fun to paint for a little bit. And then I can kick back and paint some more Rebel Troopers and some veterans, some more core units.
Well, see, the Lat comes out this Friday. I'll have to go into the store and pick one up.
There you go.
I just want to do the, Brendan painted the one that we showed off, and he did such an awesome job with the glow on the inside, and I'm just like jealous. I want to do it.
I mean, sometimes the best reason to put something in your army is because you want to paint it.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, I need to do a better job than Brent. So, you know.
So would you say that the destiny of that miniature is to make you feel good about your ability to paint the inside of a glowing cockpit?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it. That's all it's got to do. All it's got to do is all it has to do is its life is let me send a picture to Brendan and me be like, yeah, I got you, buddy.
They're going real quick, which is great. I'm pretty good about these guys so far, both in the frame, and then we're going to jump on the third one and start dry brushing him, and then we can start picking out some of these details. I think I want to do some colors. They have these really cool hair braids that have some wraps on them. So I need to think of, I got to figure out a cool color to do for those, and then these skirts that they're having in any of the wraps on weapons, I'm going to do in the same kind of camo army green that my Rebel troopers are wearing for their uniforms, and that way I can hopefully get some cohesion in my army, feel like an army.
That's such a good topic. Like, that's kind of why we're all doing this, right? Is to discuss like how we're each, creating cohesion or how we approach cohesion. So it's interesting to hear you talk about it from your side.
Well, I mean, I've painted a lot of armies in my day. Like that's one of the things I'm good at. I'm good at finishing an army, and pretty quick. Once I get in the groove and I'm enjoying it, like I just get it done. And the thing that I've learned over anything else is it doesn't matter if you're a quote unquote amazing painter. You don't have to be. If you paint everything in the same style and it looks like it's going together, and you've picked a nice simple color scheme that is across everything, and you have colors linking it all, you put it on the table and it is going to look gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous, as good as any other army, because for me, It is more about consistency than it is about necessarily skill.
That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact. I'd rather see I want to see any fully painted army. That's all.
That's right.
You know, if you're entering a painting competition, that's a little different. But
oh, of course.
But if we're rolling up to the game store and you painted it, it's literally my favorite thing.
It looks great.
I'm like, yes, you painted that. That's awesome. I love it. Choosing the destiny.
I just spilled some paint on my desk, so I will be not painting for a second while I stop that from ruining my desk. There we go. All right, and we're back.
I'm not saying like one of my things to tie my clones together is this like skull motif, but tell me the front of this tank doesn't look like a skull. It's totally gonna be painted like a skull.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
It's happening, 100%.
So this is going to be a little iffy, and I don't know if this was a good idea, but it was not. I'm going to need to stop doing this. So I tried to, I used some airbrush paints, obviously, to airbrush these, because I don't like having to clean my paints when I'm airbrushing. It's just a lot of work. And I tried to make a dry brush solution out of them, and they're just a little too wet to do that properly. So now I need to try and make this real.
I've been playing with some. I actually played with some liquid masking stuff last night.
Yeah.
And like I've never used that stuff before. Holy cow! Like if you have an airbrush, that stuff is super cool, man. I fell in love with it last night. I might use it on the tank.
Mr. Davenport, we do have a ginger Wookiee. The problem is that my lighting is not great, so it just looks like a dark brown Wookiee. But he's pretty ginger. I'll probably pick the orange up a little bit more to make it pop, and it'll show up well in the pictures that I take this week. I'll be sure of it. I'll get it in some sunlight for y'all. But yes, he shares a special bond with Mr. Jeff Brexler.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, Jeff Brexler is my favorite thing to come out of this month's painting.
It certainly made the whole process a lot more fun for me because I get to just make a story the entire time that I'm doing this. And it's just gotten more and more wild. And what a good time. I encourage everyone, when you're making new armies with your friends, you're starting a new project, everybody's getting excited, make up a story about your heroes, your commanders, some unit you really love. Give them names and make up goofy stories. Have a good time. Make it your own.
That's what it's about. It's about people getting together and telling their little stories, and that's amazing. And you made Brexler, and he's the best thing in the world.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Schick made up Jeff Brexler. I'm just carrying the torch.
Sure. But you did it.
Oh, sure. We collaborated. Schick and I collaborated on Jeff Brexler.
And then I sent the idea to use what's his name's face.
Oh yeah, the Callus head, and that was an awesome idea. It came out great.
Yeah, Callus, because you need the mutton chops.
Now I just need to get a suggestion from Schaefer, and this will be a fully collaborative force. So I'll poke him today when we're done here, and I'll say, give me a suggestion for my army, and I will include it.
Gavin's talking about Arctic Wookiees right now, and I love that idea of like Wookiees riding tauntauns, like Snow Force Wookiees. That sounds awesome. That
would be awesome. I would love to have just a bunch of white furred Wookiees. They just look like mini Wampas. It would be adorable.
Oh, they'd be so cute. It'd be so cute to have little Wampa Wookiees.
Just little adorable Wookiees, just having a good time, maybe wearing a coat. I wonder if Wookiees would wear a coat. I guess Chewbacca didn't, so maybe that's a no. But maybe some would. Maybe some Wookiees run cold, and they would want a jacket.
Some Wookiees get more cold than other Wookiees.
Yeah.
They have thin blood, you know. Some
The sad thing is that I'm messing up dry brushing. Of all the things, paint's just a little too wet in some places and getting some in some crevices. But you can fix anything with a wet brush. Anything.
Yeah.
As long as you get to it fast enough.
True. Wet brush. That's why that second brush is so important. It's not just a blender, but it's
an eraser.
It's a great eraser. The one thing about Wookiees on Tauntauns is like if I converted a bunch of Wookiees right Tauntaun, I can't stop thinking about this. I'm so sorry. I would be playing the whole time and just making like Tauntaun noises, like, and then I'd be like, it'd just be the noisiest game ever.
I'm here for it. Because if you think that I'm not going to make a Wookiee sound when my Wookiees charge across the battlefield into your clones, you are dead wrong. That is happening.
Dead wrong.
Take a look in the chat.
I mean, wait till I convince you and Luke to give me my Tauntaun commander or Dewback commander, and I just have nothing but Dewbacks. I just make Dewback noises the whole bloody time.
I think you love Dewbacks more than anyone I've ever met in my life.
I love Dewbacks so much.
And I know a lot of people that think Dewbacks are real cool.
Let me field 6 of them. That's all I need. Just Dewbacks. As far as I can see. Sir, what happened? We were ambushed. Ambushed? What was ambushed by what? Dewbacks.
But they're so slow.
That's why they're dangerous.
How did you not see that coming? They're giant. You know what? I think Gavin's right. I should just embrace the chaos a little bit on these Wookiees. I have a tendency. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. In case you didn't know that, I've had to train myself very hard to be okay with being where I'm at, and that things aren't going to be perfect every time. I still struggle with it. So, thank you, Gavin. I'm going to embrace the chaos a little bit and stop worrying so much about what's wrong. Take a lesson from Bob Ross. No mistakes, just happy accidents.
Just let the little pains happen, Plum. Just it don't matter. Look, I'll even mess up on purpose. Oops. I don't care.
Oh, this one's showing up really well in the camera. I think this is the one I'm going to work on for the rest of this time, because people can see this one. Because I'm almost done with the dry brushing here, and then I can actually start getting on some details. And I think that's when these are going to start to come to life. For me, every mini has a moment when it has come to life. And up until that point, to me, it looks terrible, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like I've made a terrible mistake. And then I hit that point, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, just let it happen, right? It ain't gotta be great. Oh, I don't even know why I put that color. That was a little dumb. A little dumb.
All right.
No one's gonna see that. Would you do an army of Jawas on Dewbacks to fight Wookiees on Tauntauns? I don't know if I'd put Jawas on Dewbacks. I
love a Jawa, though. Love a Jawa. all the aliens in Star Wars are super fun, just super fun. And again, one of the reasons I really like Rebels, they have a little bit of everything in there, right?
Yeah, you got all the flavors.
All right, so got our dry brushing done. You know what? Actually, I think Ginger needs another layer. He's a little dull compared to the other two, so he's going to come back for a minute here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix a little bit of like a cream into the highlight that I did before. And we'll see what that does. Maybe it's a mistake. Who knows?
I mean, everything is paint overable.
That is true. You can always paint over something.
You just hide it with another color. It doesn't even have to be perfectly like a perfect like coat. It's just got to be like just tonally shift it, and you can usually get away with a lot.
Yeah, that was a mistake. So we can fix this.
Painting miniatures is a fine art, correcting one's mistakes.
That is correct. For me, it's the fine art of mixing a paint and saying, "Oh, I don't like that," and then trying to figure out what to put in it that fixes it. And the answer here is going to be a little bit of orange, or maybe it won't be, but we're going to find out.
I love a good mixed paint.
You're the one that did it to me. I was talking about this last week. One time I asked you for advice on something. I was like, "What color should I do this?" And you just said red. And I was like, "What? Red? Oh, okay." And I said, "What red?" And you were like, "I don't know, just make one." And I'd never thought of it.
I don't know. You see it different than me. What do you see?
Yeah, well, like actually, when I was airbrushing this one right here, I put some brown in the airbrush, and I was like, I want this guy to be a ginger, so I pulled down some red and I squirted some of that in there, and I was like, it's a little bright, and I actually just put a couple squeezes of black in there, and it was perfect. And just kind of playing with mixing colors has been a lot of fun.
It's something Chick and I talk about a lot. It's like, there's a lot of information on painting. We're in a glory, wonderful golden age of paint information. Like, unlike me in 1991, looking for information on how to paint miniatures, I'm like, I don't know. And then like I painted my first miniature and no one told me to use primer. It's like, well, that's so primer. That's cool. That's a cool tip. Thanks.
Yeah.
But we live in this golden age where there's so much information available to everybody. And one of the things we like to focus on here at Atomic Mass is definitely not teach you what to paint, right? Like if I teach you what to paint, that's like red X goes over yellow Y, and you use blue 73 to do this one thing. And then if you want to do anything else, you got to either mimic that or replace it. It's like, well, what if we just teach people how to paint? Like the colors literally don't matter. You can use different colors to do different things and different effects. So you can use, when I say a light blue, you can pick your light blue with what you think looks right with the rest of what you're doing. If I say a cold green or a warm green, let's teach people how to use a cold green and a warm green and like what that does. And then that way not all of our armies look the same.
One thing I like to do is I think everybody has friends that are really snappy dressers. Like everybody knows someone that are like, man, they've really got it together when it comes to their clothes. Like I love what they wear. So I have those people in my life, and I try to look at what they wear and say, like, what colors are they putting together? And I think about it for the next time that I'm painting a character or I'm painting, making up a color scheme or whatever. And I think back to like, oh, I really like that dress that my friend was wearing, and it's it's got kind of like a pale blue in it and a really, really warm orange. So maybe I'll try something like that. And like you find your inspiration in the weirdest places.
Oh yeah, car dealers. Man, if I walk by a car dealer and I just see like the way Like, the first time I noticed like teal or turquoise in the shadow of a yellow car, I immediately took pictures of it and was just like,
Mhm.
I'm going to incorporate this something. Dangerous Beans says, as long as you can remember your mix for when you need to paint more. If it's that important of a mix, get an empty paint bottle. Don't throw away an old paint bottle. Take an empty paint bottle, clean it out, wash it out, mix up a giant batch of paint, and then you don't have to
Yep.
remember anything because trust me, I'm the worst at remembering stuff.
And write it down. I have a book that has all of my painting recipes in it. So if there's a color that I know I'm going to use a lot that I've mixed, I'll just write down like, X parts this, X parts that, and I just eyeball it. And the other trick is don't clean off your palette because you can always just look at it and be like, is that right?
These two books go with me everywhere. They're full of recipes and nonsense. You don't even have to mix if you don't want. It's just more like thinking about learning to use colors is what we like to teach here. You don't have to mix. You don't have to mix a bloody thing. Take the color right out of the pot. Learn to use it now.
Yeah, I always end up using the same colors over and over again for a long while, and that's why I started trying to change it up and look at what other colors do I like, what goes well together. Just because I started looking and all of my armies were like, oh, they have turquoise blue in them because I use turquoise blue on everything. All right then, maybe I should change it up.
Yeah, a pot at a time, Hurricane Girl. I do whole pots too.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I do is, guess what? None of the mixes on any of these 3 units of clones is the exact same, and you can't tell. you just can't tell. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is an illusion. You were sold.
That's right.
You're sold. You were
But,
sold on that.
We've been talking about our minis for a while now. Why don't we talk about some other people's minis? Maybe we can show off those snaps we got off Instagram.
Look at you. Look at that segue.
I try.
I love it. Look at these Tone Dog paints. Painted up some Hawk Snow Trooper with their, I can't remember the name of that guy. I'm so sorry.
It's an Ewa blaster?
Yeah, there you go. But that thing is, I thought, we think that this is pretty cool looking. We were looking at this today. I love the guy looking off to the side at the control box.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of snow, like fresh flowers growing through the snow.
I love that hot barrel is great, and how they've been very careful to not put any snow on that barrel because obviously it has melted it all. And really, just for me, also just the detail that the cable that is going to the gun itself is covered in snow. Like that encampment has been there for a while, and I love this. I think that whole thing is beautiful.
Yeah,
and also just the subtle difference between the white on the plates and that kind of cream white on the rest of the fabric. Just a really nice, perfect. I love it. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss from one Michael Plummer. All right, what's the next one?
Let's see the next one. We looked at these. So here we got Darth Vader and some Royal Imperial Guard. I loved those. I loved the Royal Guard since I was a kid watching Return of the Jedi. The first time I saw them, I was like, what are they? And they're great minis. They're beautiful. I really like the red and how it goes with Darth Vader's lightsaber with that little glow. Just really nice work. Yeah.
It's a very cool little collection, little cool force. I like the Vader and I like the Royal Guard, and I like the custom bases. Those are very cool.
Yeah, bases really bring things to life for me. It's really cool to see when people put a lot of work into the base and the world that their minis are living in.
There's an age-old adage, faces and bases. Like,
That's what they say.
All right, what's the next? Oh, that was by Grandpa Nurgle.
And then here from Decatur Painting, we've got some clones, and it looks like Captain Rex up here. Yeah, I just love it. Like the clones are just great sculpts. The blue here is really well controlled around the visor, and yeah, just all around good work. And yep, faces and bases. Like even on a clone trooper, like the first thing I see when I look at that is his face. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. They got like a nice little story. It's definitely some alien planet, right? Who knows what kind of creatures live there? He's got that little bit of green, or they got that little bit of green on the leg of the troopers, and then the like trooper in the back. You know, you can see that color on there. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very, very fun.
It's just so cool to see, you know, the different way that people paint their minis. We love seeing people share their stuff with us because, you know, we get to share our things with you all. So turnaround is fair play.
We're here to see everybody's stuff. I love everybody's paint jobs. The fun of it. We're all on this little hobby journey together.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things is when someone says like, "Hey, I painted this thing, and it's the best thing I've ever done," and just, you know, seeing people excited about what they've done and how they've gotten better, just super cool. Because I love that feeling. I love feeling like something is the best mini that I have ever painted.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I never give critique unless somebody asks for it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's not what it's here for.
If you painted it and you love it, then it's the best painted miniature I've ever seen.
And if people want to check out more awesome painted minis, they should check out our Instagram where people have been, you know, posting their minis, and you know, look up that hashtag and just go get ideas and share your own.
Yeah, gathering forces, post them up on Instagram, and maybe you can be featured on the stream as well.
Yeah. So I'm starting to paint this kind of fabric around Ginger Wookiee's waist. I'm using that same army green, which I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think it's going to look good. Did not expect the dry brushing to take so long, but I think that's what I get for making 3 different colored Wookiees.
Yeah, I mean, with the multicolored factions, you kind of got to switch back and forth, and kind of creates a little bit more work. You can't quite assembly line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about like discovering that way to like create the assembly line with the maximum differential. Does that make sense?
It actually doesn't make sense to me. Could you clarify that? What do you mean?
So like once you start getting it groove, you can figure out ways to be like, okay, so I want everything to prefer, but I still want to assembly line them. So like something I might do is like, okay, well, this Wookiee will get they'll all get the same like base coat except for this one Wookiee, and then they'll all get the same 2 dry brushes, but then they'll get different washes, and then you'll use
yeah
to like change the tonality of the Wookiees. So you can assembly line, but still get some difference in the effects. Uh-oh, did we just lose Plum? I will keep talking. I think we just lost Plumber. Plumber down. Plumber down. Not as dramatic as a Piper down, but definitely terrible. Now I'm all alone and I'm just painting this clone. It's like a start of a country song. All alone, painting this clone. Ain't got no one to talk. Oh, he's back, but he can't. Double A Man says Plumber did not like the advice. You chased him off. You know, Plumber doesn't like my advice ever. You know, I'm okay with it. Hey, back. We're gonna. I'm gonna finish this little spot here and there. And what do we got to talk about? Remember, we're gonna close it out, kids. Remember tomorrow. I think it's Will Schick in Dallas. We're gonna be painting up 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as usual. Friday, join Schaefer and Schick. I think is correct, as they paint up more of their gathering forces on Friday. And every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us here at Twitch for more Atomic Mass Transmissions Live as we paint and do fun stuff. I'm just painting instead of switching cameras because I think that's way more interesting than going to my face. We're just going to paint these all black kneecaps because that's way more fun. So until next week, or the next time I see you, which is tomorrow, you should join tomorrow definitely. We're going to paint some fun stuff. We'll catch you later and be safe and have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.